I'm Laura Rutkowski from Radio Times. I've always been obsessed with how hit shows and films are made, so come with me as I leave the office and go access all areas. Join me for exclusive set visits, cast secrets, and a look at how the magic is really made. This is Behind the Screens. On this episode, I've been invited to join the cast and crew in Glasgow on set of the hugely popular BBC series Balamory. Can you believe that it has been 20 years since new episodes of Balamory were aired on CBeebies, all the way back in 2005? I was delighted to sit down with returning favourites, to meet some new faces for 2026, and to find out what's the story in Balamory, exclusively for Radio Times. I started off in the nursery asking Julie Wilson-Nimmo, who plays Miss Hooley, how she felt about returning to the series after such a long time away.
The very first thing we shot, and it's the very first thing we shot on this one as well, was in Miss Hooley's house, sort of waving for the titles, and I was telling everybody that I remembered on the first day in this, and I got emotional, that my mum and my dad came to watch my wee boys in the pram just across the road, so that was lovely. That was like a full circle moment. And some of the kids who were kids in the outside scenes and all have obviously grown up and they all remembered us, and so all of that, all of those genuine connections are really emotional and lovely about it. And the laughing, they always laugh, and we got really soaked a lot the first time. I just remember going up there over the 4 years and getting absolutely drenched, and we still laughed, so that was good. It's just all the people that you meet, I think that's been the most special thing about Balamory. We're so lucky to have such a lovely cast and crew on them both. It's really, really special. This is the love of Hooley's life, this nursery, and so of course she's still here, she still loves it, and I think that's amazing, because so many women don't have children, and they are married to their jobs, and that's amazing, and they have the rest of their life to do other lovely things, but I'm surrounded by so many brilliant women who excel in their careers, so she loves this nursery, she lives for this nursery, she lives for the kids, and that's great.
Next, it was off to the police station to speak to Andrew Agnew and Kim Tserkezie, who play PC Plum and Penny Pocket. I was excited to ask them how they found the process of getting back into character.
It's taken a bit of getting used to it.
It really
was a bit surreal when we first started out.
Yeah.
It was
I think although these characters have lived with us for such a long time, it has taken a bit of time to get back into it again, because, years have passed. When we're trying to find out who these characters are 20 odd years later,
Yeah, because we're older now, we're just embracing all those things.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's working.
Yeah.
I was nervous to begin with, excited that the programme was coming back. That was the first thing, because when we found out Balamory was coming back, whether we were going to be involved or not, the fact that kids were going to get to see this show again was really exciting. But then when we were asked to be involved, nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shock to start with, I think. I don't think I could have ever imagined Balamory coming back. A few years after we finished the original series, it was like, thought maybe they would come back for the odd special or something like that. But to come back full on like this, I never imagined that happening. So it was such a surprise, and then the excitement built up, and then the nerves again, like say what's it gonna look like, how it's gonna be, like say we're 20 years on, but here we are.
And now that we're here, I can't imagine not doing it. It's like, it feels right to be doing it 20 years or so later, because the characters have totally evolved as well. The new characters that have come into the show, it just feels, it feels fresh, but very familiar. And I do remember we were filming, it was really early on, we were filming, somebody came up on Mull and asked me for directions, and I was like, I've no idea, I just came yesterday. Because I was dressed as a policeman, they totally thought I was like, I'm really sorry, can't help you.
Next up, I was lucky enough to spend some time with one of Balamory's newest residents, Ava Potts, who is played by Danielle Jam.
She's an inventor, like her father, Archie. She creates a lot of crazy, whimsical, fun, practical and not so practical things for the people in Balamory. Archie made a lot of amazing inventions in the original Balamory series, and now I am creating inventions of my own. I think that Ava's a lot more like into like machinery and like engineering and stuff like that, but still like uses yogurt pots and carpet boxes and stuff like Archie did too. So it was a bit of a blend of like old and new. Ava's workshop is just a dream. I love like the planets that are above me hanging. She has musical instruments up on the wall because she loves music as well. All of her tools. It really, to me, it kind of feels like her own spaceship. I feel like it's very representative of Ava's brain, like what's going on in here at all times, and she's kind of on her own planet as well. And just like making new things out of old things and like wiring, attaching things up to other things. It feels like the party house in here.
It's really exciting to inspire kids who are interested in just anything that's to do with science and maths and engineering and especially like little girls too, and for them to see that there could be a future for them in this field, because it's all about imagination at the end of the day, and you can make it work if you like really just work hard on it or study it and immerse yourself in that world, and you can create anything you want really. So I'm glad to be like a representative of that.
Balamory is a show that's recognised for its wonderful production design. I went to chat with Moley Campbell, the man tasked with bringing it all together.
So you can see behind me I've got this mammoth blackboard. It's a bit of an indulgence on my book because I love drawing on blackboards. I've become a big fan of drawing on them. But I just thought it'd be really cool if we had something that was kind of maybe old-fashioned, but usable and something that kids would recognise, because they still have the little tiny ones that they use quite a lot of the time in classrooms, and at home you get little tiny sets for them. But why not make a huge, gigantic version, because Ava does everything bigger than everybody else does it. So hence we have this great big space here. We can have quite complex stories that she can be working on, and sometimes they're like bigger three-dimensional shapes that she's working on. And it just gives you a little insight into the kind of amazing mind of Ava Potts. In the script we have a story where Plummy comes in and he's looking for some advice on something else, and she wants to offer him all sorts of different other ideas, and she's saying, I can give you flying boots, I can give you this, and then she goes, how about a custard-powered biscuit dunking machine? And then this is what she's been working on. So I thought, well, maybe if this spiral here was custard, was running through tubes, and then the weight of it would change, and therefore it would turn, and it would push this section up, down, be pivoted here, and then it would drop the biscuit into the tea, and then out again once it comes back down again. So she would then need to do other calculations, usually about how far should the spiral turn, and that's kind of explained why the blackboard is there. And every time when we come in here, I get to explain to Ava or discuss with Ava what it is that she's currently inventing in here, which is a lot of fun. I was wanting another picture, and I was thinking, well, what would there be? What would be like a cherished thing that Ava would want to have in here that's equally as important as the picture of herself and her dad? And I thought, well, what's the connection between like her and the rest of her family? I wondered whether or not maybe it was a little conversation with her grandmother that kind of like sparked off ideas. I thought maybe Ava's grandmother would have been a scientific genius herself, an inventor and creator, and probably one of the kind of people that built all of this. And Archie was a great, fun, daft character that made all sorts of amazing things, but weren't necessarily most super practical. And then when Ava's grandmother noticed a little spark in Ava, she took her out one day for a little piece of cake and a cup of tea, and sat down and just sort of asked her a few little questions about things like, hey, well, what do you know about the world? And she would say, I know the world spins at this speed. And we go, oh, and do you know that it sits at the map? Yes. And she would say, yeah, I know this. So the grandmother, I was imagining, might be sitting there scribbling this on a little piece of tissue paper, a little napkin, and just sort of drawing little things and showing it to tiny Ava, and wondering whether she understood it. And of course she realized straight off that Ava got everything that was going on. And so she realized that Ava was indeed a chip off the block and was actually just like her. At some point, perhaps later on in her life, this was given to Ava by her grandmother because she kept it, because it was a precious thing to the grandmother. So she kept it in her bag, all safe. Then at one point wrapped it up. So she's written here that it's to brilliant Ava from BGA. I don't know what the grandmother's name was, but I'm guessing it began with an A. The BG is her best grandma.
Alongside production design, the outfits are obviously a huge part of the show. Costume designer Donna Bryce-MacLeod explained to me how important color, texture, and comfort are when selecting an outfit for a cast member.
I think because the characters don't change their costumes, they only put things on. I think it's really important that there's lots of texture for the kids and, anybody watching, so she's in green, Miss Hilly's in green, but she's got a nice kind of blouse and we've got a tank top, trousers, her jacket, which she doesn't always wear, and of course her hat and bag, and we've given her trainers. And we wanted her just to be able to kind of get down on the ground with the kids and make it a costume that's easy. And we worked with Julie a lot, making sure that she felt comfortable because she's in it for almost 10 weeks every day. So it's really important that she feels, but also feels the character, and yeah. I love working in colour, so it's my happy place working in colour. I think I wanted it to be accessible to everybody. I wanted it to be stylish, and I just wanted it to look really, really beautiful.
My next chat was with two of the people responsible for bringing Balamory back to our screens.
Well, I'm Lisa Hazelhurst. I'm the head of Line Scotland, which means I have the joy of executing Balamory.
And I'm Jackie Sinclair, the series producer of the fabulous Balamory.
BBC put the glorious show up for tender last year. So Pauline, our head of development in Scotland, and I got our heads together and along with some colleagues just spent many weeks and weeks and weeks just dreaming up how we thought Balamory 2026 should look. We really put the little children at the forefront, thinking who did they want to see, what did they want to see, and who did they want to make it. And when we landed on the thought that they want to have a laugh, we thought of Jackie. Jackie is Scotland's leading comedy producer, so she seemed like the natural fit.
So then I got handed the tender document with all this amazing work that the guys had done on it, all the details about the original characters that were coming back, the new characters that were going to be in the show, and it was my job to pull a team together who were going to bring it all to life. And a big part of what I wanted to do was make fantastic comedy for not only the children but also the grown-ups in their lives who will be watching these episodes again and again.
Yeah.
Repeat. So there's something for everybody to laugh at and enjoy.
Because we're so aware that little children who watched it in the early 2000s might not even be parents themselves or in their 20s and will want to see it as well. So it'll be multi-generational from
grannies
and
first
granddads.
watched with their children and now watching with grandchildren. Incredible, yeah. So it's been an absolute joy, working with a whole range of writers who some of them have never written for CBeebies before, but have written comedy. Some have written for CBeebies before. Some have been brand new, have taken on some mentees and really coached them through the process. And we have 20 incredible scripts, really, really funny scripts, and I can't wait for people to see them.